Hello everyone, welcome to The Orbit, and today we're going to talk about the future of work. The future of work is an idea that I've been exploring, researching, and looking into for the past 3 years. And it started when I asked my friends what they were looking for in a job. We wanted remote, ideally, flexible hours, pay that covered our basics. We didn't want to worry about making enough money to pay our bills and our student loans. We're not interested in climbing the corporate ladder at all. We were interested in businesses and ventures that were value driven. And also we just wanted more control over what we did because a lot of work felt meaningless. And the people that seemed to be doing this kind of stuff that was remote, flexible, individually driven were artists on the internet, primarily Cheyenne Barton. I met Cheyenne in 2017, and I thought that she had the coolest job ever. So I interviewed her and other people inside of her niche, like Jordan Clark. I mean, you can look at the YouTube channel and see all the people I've interviewed. But my goal was to figure out what does the future of work look like and who's doing it already. In my mind, these people are artists, streamers, YouTubers, podcasters, indie game developers, online shop owners, and the way I describe it in kind of a blanket term are creative web-based business. I think a lot of us who are on YouTube and TikTok or even on the internet are pretty familiar with these people. And my question to you is, why wouldn't you want to work in these fields if they offer all of the things you were looking for in a job? Going into this field is scary, and there's no handbook because it's an emerging front and there's very little infrastructure. And so my job is to show you that this is possible and that people are doing it and how they're doing it. So it's less of this abstract concept and more concrete. I want to start by talking about the importance of value-driven business. If you are going out into the internet to start a business for the sole purpose of making money, you're going to get lost really quickly. Alternatives to traditional work are attractive because they give us the opportunity to be more value-driven. Capitalism has created weird systems that serve greed rather than people. Large companies quickly lose sight of their values to serve capitalism and its greed. Idealists, individuals, want to create alternatives to the status quo. And what better way to do it than individually on a small scale with lean businesses? Ultimately, my community doesn't want to work for a company that doesn't recognize its workers' rights, humanity, or desire to fight problems like racism and climate change. So we are making other alternatives. And it starts with the idea that you are capable of doing more. If you are a streamer on Twitch, you are one person who is a live video producer, a TV talent, a video game player, and a chat moderator. That's 5 jobs. And if you are making YouTube videos, you're simultaneously video editing, marketing your content, writing scripts. You are doing the work of a team of 5. And previously, when you would need just a lot of people to make a feature-length film, a single person can do it out of their backpack. You can use YouTube to learn pretty much anything. And the barriers of entry to getting started in a creative online business are low. It's cheap, and you can reach a worldwide audience almost immediately. As an example, I'm going to talk very briefly about books. Books used to be the cheapest way to spread ideas. And then the people who were printing books decided what ideas were spread because they were spending, money on materials to print and distribute the books. Today we have TikTok, where if you have an idea, you don't need to physically ship out pages explaining what you're thinking about. You can talk to people every single day instantaneously by filming a video of yourself. Systems change when our relationships to information change. And our relationship to information is completely robust right now. The strongest takeaway here is that 20 years ago and plus, the things that single people are doing today used to be done by teams. You've probably seen this firsthand because productivity has gone up, but wages have remained the same. We do a tremendous amount more, and we're not properly compensated for it. Do you feel like your wage accurately represents the amount of work that you do? This is both good news and bad news because the companies that are helping us venture into the future of work are often large tech conglomerates like Amazon or Twitch. But what's cool about these platforms is that they are building railroads. They are making infrastructure for people to work in new and unique ways. For example, the way Cheyenne and I published our book, Sustainable Loops, was through Kindle Direct Publishing. It cost us a total of $4 to print a proof, make sure it was okay, and then distribute it worldwide. TikTok, Gumroad, Stripe, Google, all of these are companies that are building tools to serve creators. And the unfortunate thing is that we have to balance our reliance on these companies with also the value-driven work that we're doing. The reason I bring this up is because it's complicated, and our relationship to the platforms that we use is complicated. And we need to pay attention to the policies of these businesses to see if they're serving the creators, what they're doing in the world, because of how much we rely on them. I know it's weird to lump all of these businesses together, but I wanted to highlight these railroad infrastructure systems that exist to serve creators. I'm going to be real with you. Getting paid in remote online work, freelancing, is difficult. And there's not really a definitive handbook because so much of what we do is different and the environment is changing all of the time. Further, influencers, content creators, TikTokers, in the eyes of, for lack of a better word, a boomer, these career paths seem illegitimate. And as a result, it's hard to convince someone that these are viable paths to get paid. I would say half of my job is convincing skeptics that young people are making incomes by creating content on the internet. And it's not just creating content, it's a complex and evolving system that requires a lot of moving parts. And for someone who is a stranger to the internet, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Boomers, people that are skeptical of the internet's utility or are uncomfortable with the idea that technology is moving so quickly, are unwilling to believe that the future of work exists. Further, it's very difficult to get paid when existing infrastructure hasn't caught up to the people who are making a living online. We're lucky, though, because some infrastructure does exist, like Patreon, like Ko-fi, like Stripe. My job is to continuously look for options like this to kind of mediate our need to work for ourselves and also somehow make a living. The strongest plan that I know of currently is Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans, but I'm always looking for other alternatives. With the tools available to us, a lot is possible, and a lot of people are already working in the future of work. Why shouldn't you at least try to get started? I'm not saying quit your day job or go all in on this idea, but there's an aspect of dipping your toes in the pool, trying it out, seeing what works. Make a YouTube video, start streaming on Twitch. Just becoming part of that community is going to help you get a paradigm shift of what work could look like beyond 9 to 5. Here's some reasons that you should get started. First of all, existing systems are strained, and they're in need of redesign and creative new approaches, which you probably have ideas for. It is relatively low cost to get started. Sometimes all you need is a podcast or an Instagram page or simply a Google Doc. I recommend that you work at your own pace and your schedule instead of trying to work on banking hours or hustling until you're exhausted. If you work in a sustainable way, you're creating a work culture that will serve you in the long term. Remember that your work is legitimate. Even if you're making a podcast, just like everyone else in quarantine, that doesn't make your work any less meaningful. The fact that you are recording your voice and your ideas from beginning to end and publishing them is something important, and you should definitely showcase to other people that you want to collaborate with. These are all just tips at this point. Make small projects with a beginning, middle, and an end. Tie a bow on it and keep it in your good job folder. Write down what works and what doesn't, and find other people who are doing what you want to do. I'm ultimately trying to spread the word because I have this conversation daily. I feel like I have this conversation a lot because people recognize that work culture is a little bit broken and doesn't serve people in the way that we want it to. And we now have an opportunity to shape the work culture that we want to be a part of. And so, even though I haven't figured out all the answers and I don't even know where this is headed, I am so interested in the individuals who are just trying stuff out, which is why I'm interviewing teachers, authors, musicians, developers. I want to know what is the future that they are currently building. I hope this makes sense. Again, I think I've stated, this is the mantra that I've internalized, but it is a collaborative effort. And if you have ideas or want to know more, I encourage you to make your own videos, write your own Medium posts, start a podcast, talk through your ideas, and pay attention to what works. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in my orbit. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm all over the internet. It's very easy to find me, so whichever way works best for you. And I look forward to talking to you because this is a group effort, and I want to bring as many of my friends as possible into flexible, remote, and sustainable work processes. What else is going on? Today is Friday. I did everything I needed to do this week, so I'm going to be working on this video and then playing some video games.
Video games.
Great.